is one with lots of money, money, money. When I become rich and famous, oh, this faces will know who I am, 'cause I'll be a superstar, flashing lights and cover pages. Oh, this faces will know who I am, 'cause I'll be a superstar. No more lining up outside the club, straight to the door. Of course they remember me. I live in VIP. Don't you know, don't you know? We got big fancy clothes. Paparazzi stalking me, 'cause the whole world knows this dude's about to blow. Don't you know, don't you know? Ain't got no need for game. Just say my name and all of the girls agree. They want a piece of me. Don't you know, don't you know? Good afternoon to you, dear listener out there. You are welcome to a fresh edition of Business Diet this Monday afternoon, October 6, 2024, on Wells Radio 89.3. Oh, sorry. October 6, 2025. Oh, what is wrong? I wouldn't know. Anyway, take that as just human error. I'm sorry. Today is October 6, 2025. And you are on to Wells Radio 89.3 FM at Long Alafin Avenue, Oluyole Estate, here in the city of Ibadan. Wells Radio, proudly your number one family radio station in the city of Ibadan. And here you are guaranteed wholesome and very clean content. This week on Business Diet, as usual, you can guess, I'm happy to announce to you that my official guest analyst, Mrs. Dolapo Olufunmilade, is in the house. Mrs. Olufunmilade, how are you today?
I'm very well. Thank you, sir. Good afternoon, my listeners. It's so good to be here again. It's so good to be here again. And I can assure you that today's Business Diet edition is going to be jaw-breaking and mind-blowing.
Yeah. I'm happy to imagine traveling together with you today, as usual, because I know that you are ready. You are ready for every bit of the issues raised here. Well, I want to tell our listener out there that before we actually got on air, we were discussing some issues. Our president did make the independence statement, and we want to at least briefly touch on that, including some other economic issues in the land. But we wouldn't want you to leave us all alone to it. We would like you to join us in order for you to contribute your own views, to give your advice, and then to critique aspects of the policies that you are not attuned with. Now, before we go into the analysis, we would like you to join us as we read through the business and economic news in the land. First, the headlines. Petrol sells for 865 naira per litre despite Dangote's logistic free supply. Dangote begins construction of $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Ethiopia. Nigeria's trade with African countries rises by 610 billion naira in first half of 2025. Now, the news in full. Petrol sells for 865 naira per litre despite Dangote's logistics free supply. Despite receiving petrol at a reduced S-Depot price of 820 naira per litre from the Dangote refinery with no additional logistics cost, most of the refinery's marketing partners have yet to lower pump prices at their filling stations. Findings reveal that major partners, including Hayden AP, MRS, and others continue to sell petrol at 865 naira per litre. Only a few MRS outlets in Lagos adjusted their prices to 841 naira per litre, prompting long queues at the MRS stations in Alakbere, where motorists rushed to buy at the reduced rate. Other stations along the same axis maintained their previous prices of 865 naira per litre. In Ogun State, the MRS station in Olowotedo along the Mowe-Ibafor corridor sold petrol for as high as 875 naira per litre. He then offered 863 naira per litre, while Adrova and several others retained prices between 865 naira per litre and 870 naira per litre. Other marketers including Corn Oil, Etana, Golden Super, Nepal Energies, Kifayat Global Energy, and Request and Gas are also part of Dangote Refinery's logistics free fuel distribution initiative. The refinery had earlier announced that petrol prices were expected to drop from Monday, September 15, following the deployment of over 1,000 compressed natural gas (CNG) powered trucks for nationwide distribution. According to Dangote, the initiative aimed to eliminate logistic costs and lower the S-Depot prices to 820 naira per litre, a move expected to bring pump prices down to 841 naira per litre in Lagos and other southwest states and around 851 naira per litre in Abuja, Rivers, Delta, Edo, and Kwara states. The new pricing framework was to take immediate effect in selected states with a national rollout plan as more CNG trucks were deployed. However, nearly 3 weeks later, the anticipated price relief has not materialized as most stations continue to sell at previous rates. Several Dangote CNG trucks were sighted along the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, confirming the commencement of the logistics free distribution scheme. Some marketers, however, attributed the unchanged prices to existing stock purchase at higher cost, assuring that adjustments will be made once new supplies reach their tanks. Dangote begins construction of $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Ethiopia. The president and chief executive officer of Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has performed the groundbreaking ceremony for a $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Gode, Ethiopia. The Dangote Group said the project, a partnership between the conglomerate and Ethiopian Investment Holdings, will have an annual production capacity of 3 million metric tons of urea, making it one of the largest fertilizer complexes in the world upon completion. Located in Ethiopia's southeastern region, the plant will utilize the country's vast natural gas resources from the Hilal and Kalub reserves to boost agricultural productivity, create jobs, and strengthen food security across the Horn of Africa. Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed described the project as a symbol of unity, cooperation, and shared progress, emphasizing its significance beyond industrial growth. The fertilizer project embodies our shared responsibility to harness opportunities, strengthen cooperation, and promote peace. I call upon all Ethiopians to continue mobilizing in unity for progress, the Prime Minister said. He commended his administration's ongoing investment in critical infrastructure, including transport, energy, and the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, noting that such projects form the backbone of Ethiopia's industrial drive. Abeyi added that the Gode fertilizer complex is only the beginning, as there is a future plans to diversify into production of other fertilizers type. According to him, this expansion will position Ethiopia as a major hub for fertilizer production in the region. Nigeria's trade with African countries rises by 610 billion naira in fourth quarter 2025. Nigeria's trade with other African countries surged by 610 billion naira in the first half of 2025, reaching 4.82 trillion compared to 4.21 trillion naira recorded in the same period in 2024, according to new data from the National Bureau of Statistics. The figure reflects the resilience of regional commerce amid economic headwinds, although the weakening naira continues to distort trade values when measured in dollars. Quarterly data showed contrasting trends. In the fourth quarter of 2025, trade volumes dipped slightly to 1.86 trillion from 2.24 trillion naira in quarter 1 of 2024. However, the second quarter recorded a strong rebound, climbing to 2.97 trillion naira from 1.98 trillion naira in quarter 2 of 2024, a near 1 trillion jump drove the half-year increase. Export accounted for most of the growth, rising to 4.82 trillion in first half of 2025 from 4.21 trillion naira in the same period last year. The surge was particularly pronounced in quarter 2 of 2025, when export climbed to 2.97 trillion naira from 1.97 trillion naira in quarter 2 of 2024. Import also rose, but at a slower pace, reaching 1.82 trillion naira in first half of 2024, up from 1.13 trillion naira a year earlier. Despite the uptick in imports, Nigeria remained a net exporter to Africa, posting a trade surplus of 2.99 trillion naira in the first half of 2025, only marginally lower than the 3.08 trillion naira surplus recorded in the same period of 2024. The trade balance narrowed in quarter 1 of 2025 as imports more than doubled to 1 trillion naira from 401.8 billion naira in quarter 1 of 2024, while export declined to 1.85 trillion naira from 2.24 trillion naira. This reduced the quarterly surplus of 852.8 billion naira from 1.8 trillion naira. However, the balance widened again in quarter 2 of 2025 to 2.15 trillion naira, driven by the strong export performance. The detailed breakdown confirms a shifting regional trade structure. While exports remain dominant, the faster rise in imports suggested that African suppliers are gradually regaining market share after years of decline caused by the foreign exchange shortages and import restrictions. When measured in dollar terms, however, Nigeria's trade expansion appeared modest. Total trade with African partners amounted to 3.13 billion naira in first half of 2025, up from $2.89 billion in the same period of 2024, but still well below the pre-pandemic level of $4.51 billion recorded in 2019. Esports were valued at $1.95 billion compared to $1.76 billion in 2024, while imports stood at $1.19 billion, slightly above the $1.13 billion recorded a year earlier. Before I end the news, here are the headlines once again. Petrol sells for 865 naira per litre despite Dangote's logistics-free supply. Dangote begins construction of $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Ethiopia. Nigeria's trade with African countries rises by 610 billion naira in first half of 2025. That ends the business and economic news. Now, dear listener at home or wherever you are, we are calling you to join us on the discourse. We are going on analysis now, and we would like you to join us in the studio by calling the studio lines. Now, we want you to take down the studio lines so that you can call in. The numbers are 0916 893 1000. Another number 0915 3334 893. And the last number 0911 3333 893. So those are the numbers, and we would like you to call in and contribute as we discuss the issues. Now, Mrs. Olufumilade, you are welcome on board again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. You did assure our listener a very, very fully packed episode. And now, I would like us to start on this note, apart from the news items that we read. You will recall during the Independence Day address, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu did address the country, and on issues regarding the economy, he made some claims. Okay? So, well, let me just highlight some of the claims that our president made. He said that the second quarter of 2025, in the second quarter of 2025, gross domestic product grew by 4.23%. That is Nigeria's fastest pace in 4 years. That is one. Then he also claimed that Nigeria has a stronger foreign reserve position than it was in 3 years. 3 years back. He said that our external reserve increased to $42.03 billion this September. Then he also made claim that Nigeria tax GDP ratio has risen to 13.5% from less than 10%. Okay, now Tinubu said Nigeria has recorded a trade surplus for 5 consecutive quarters. He said Nigeria's trade surplus increased by 44.3% in quarter 2 of 2025. This among others. How do you react to the claim by the president?
Well, let's applaud him.
Okay.
Let's applaud him, because
at least some claps there.
Let's applaud him.
All right.
In all fairness to him, what analysts are saying is that we're on a journey.
Yeah.
And they keep on using China as an example, that China went through this process for 15 years, and it was after 15 years that, it was harsh.
Okay.
And they finally got it right. So let's applaud him. And but the only argument I have here is that I'm seeing a lot of figures.
All right.
As in his claims, but the common man is not seeing anything.
Okay.
You see, I always use China as my recovery. Do I say
Model.
reference? Yes,
Right.
model. Yes, reference model. Yes, because when China went about subsidy removal, they were mindful of the masses.
Okay.
They cushioned in a kind of a succor, a relief. They went into manufacturing, industrialization, which engaged a lot of people with jobs.
Okay.
At least they were earning and they were able to, and that was like a soft landing for the masses. We are supposed to be under subsidy here, but you see, the common man is not feeling the impact.
Okay.
You understand? And now, unfortunately, there's no middleman in Nigeria anymore. It's either you are there or you're there. So what we have now are elites. Everybody's trying to be in the elite, as in, okay, we are just floating. You understand? So the figures are there, but I mean, we're not feeling it. That's just the truth. So I see them as figures, but at the same time, is it a working process? But in all fairness to his government, I think they've done what other governments have not done.
All right.
Because they went on this, at least our export system is operational now. And I'm getting some information from people that, yes, that sector is really, because for years, it was just the import sector that was, and they wanted to make all the money they could make from import, you understand? And it was so harsh on the importers, the levies, the dues, the tax, everything was so alarming because that was just their source. But now that they have shifted a bit to exportation, and if you can remember on the show, on the program, we've always said we should not have a monotonous mode of income.
Okay.
We should shift our eyes from the crude oil.
Yeah.
We should look at other agriculture, mining, other things that we can do.
Yeah.
So I think I will give it to his government, but at the same time, I want them to be mindful that if the common man that puts him there, because it's the common man that votes.
Yeah.
The middlemen and the top guys don't really go there, except the public figures that want to be seen that they casted their votes. So I think I think they should focus on how they can bring succor to their, all their implementation, so that the common man will not be too crushed, and the common man can feel the impact. I think that's my take on this.
Well, on a lighter note, what you are saying now is that the common man is actually crushed, but not too crushed yet. Okay, well, one of the things one of the questions that I raised in my mind on this issue of, okay, when there are things to point at, there are areas of strength to point at, the masses are not really feeling it. One would be tempted to ask, is it issue of corruption? Why are we not feeling it? Why are we not feeling it really? That question. And I think that, okay, last week I did mention something on price control board. Do we really have an animate price control board in Nigeria, or is it that the price control board, they are there just taking salaries as some of sleepy parastatals?
If you can remember last week, we concluded, I think it was a collabo conclusion, that most of our agencies that handle these things, I know I said as if they are bribed, but you said, let's not go there. I said, okay, maybe they are bribed so that they're not really doing their work. The efficacy of their work is not being
Really
showcased.
being felt.
So exactly.
Yeah.
So, well, I think what I will say is that maybe we should give it time.
Maybe we should give it time.
I think it's too early for us to, because what we are embarking on is not a one-day thing.
All right.
In all fairness to this administration, they are not, though people, Nigerians don't forgive. Okay, they said it started from that the past president really did a lot. But people said he put him there because he was the one that, Nigerians don't forgive and they remember things. They will remind you of. So when they always rope into that administration, that since he brought it, he should be responsible for it. But he is saying that his own modus of whatever is different from that administration.
And that is apparent from the policies that we have in place now. But then there is one angle that I want us to look at. Usually, people will criticize the government at the center. They will criticize the policies. They will say this government is bad. Oh, the country is hard. But there are factors that would, when you look at it cumulatively, that will come together to determine whether an economy will be flourishing, people will be happy, or on the other hand, whether people will be sad. Why don't we look at what it is not just the central government that we have. I mean the federal government that we have. We have 36 other states. Okay. We have the governors and
local government.
Yes, few months, some months back, several months back, we have the states that are taking the lowest, taking about $4 billion, 4 billion naira in terms of monthly subvention. But the allocation that is being given now, I think the lowest remunerated state, the state that's taking the lowest from the federal government allocation every month is taking between 8 and 10 billion naira. So if there has been an increase in this, and if well utilized, wouldn't people have felt good governance by now?
I understand what you're saying, sir.
All right.
I'm going to look at it from this perspective.
All right.
The economy is not friendly.
Yeah.
And it's global.
Yeah.
Now, overhead cost is mounting up.
All right.
It's just like husband and wife. You increase the allowance, but the money is still not. You're not feeling it.
All right.
Because overhead cost is high and the economy is harsh. So the money might have increased, but because there is a lot of economic meltdown, globally and even here in Nigeria, that money is not felt. The impact is not felt. It's just like they increased the salary of a staff. Yes, he's complaining. It's not as if they've not done what they should do, but the economy needs intervention. You understand? The economy needs intervention. And one way of intervening in the economy is our foreign, the trade, foreign exchange, because that area, in fact, someone said even with the foreign exchange going down, we're not still seeing anything. Even the law of demand and supply is not working in Nigeria. These things make us to wonder, what is really going on? When dollar was going down, people were like, okay, let dollar go down. Maybe if it goes down, cost of things will come down because, the cost of raw materials will also drop. So, production costs, overhead costs will come down, Petrol went down a bit, but yet all these factors in place, we're not feeling anything. So we begin to wonder what is happening in Nigeria.
Okay, I still want to take some of this coverage that you give the governors with a pinch of salt, because if I'm being given 4 billion naira to work with per month, and now it's been doubled, no matter what, there should be
a difference.
Some additions that I should be able to do. And that is not forgetting the fact that as I'm getting subvention from Abuja, I'm still generating IGR locally. And some of these governors, especially in the Southwest, will claim that, okay, the previous administration was generating $3 billion naira IGR per maybe a month or something.
Quarterly.
But now I've raised it to 5 billion.
But we're not seeing anything.
But we are including the monthly allocation from Abuja, including the fact that I did all the money that should go to the local government councils. I'm centralizing everything in the state capital. Yet there is still very little to show for this. I wouldn't want us to pardon the governors.
I'm not pardoning them, but you see, it has become a cliche. Now, when I remember, I always use Oshomole as my yardstick.
All right.
When he was Labour, oh my God, he was a talkative. He criticized government.
He was a critique.
He did a lot, but when he got there, he is worse than them. So, one thing with governance is that when you're not there, you talk, but when you get there, you see what we're saying. So that's why at times when I'm doing my analysis, I analyze like a governor. Then I also governance starts in the home actually.
All right.
That's why I'm using allowance as an issue. the allowances have increased somehow.
Yeah.
But you're not feeling it. That's why I want to leave it like that.
Okay.
Because there is a lot of damage, and that damage does not require money. It requires some regulations that will, cushion some things out or turn down the volumes of some things. Then some things need to be, readjusted. Because just putting in more money doesn't make it any better.
And excuse me, I agree with you to some extent. Yes, you are a mother in the house, and you manage the powerhouse. And feeding, whether we like it or we like to agree or not, feeding takes a lot.
Yes.
The cost of protein alone goes a long way.
Yes.
Okay. The husband must have doubled or more than double the amount that is left in the family for maintenance, for sustenance. And then the mother too will have contributed.
Added supplement.
But beyond these two, there is no other means. Okay, like if we now let that translate to what happens in governance, you have the state government as the family, you have the state government, the state governors as the wives, the federal government as the husband. The federal government has more than doubled what is coming to the state. The state government is claiming that they generate even more IGR, yet they still have some money that are meant for the state, for the local government councils being brought into another pause within the state, yet you have less.
I am not going to overlook corruption. I am not going to overlook corruption, but I don't want to keep on hitting on that every time because it's so obvious. That's why I'm looking out of the box.
It is very important.
At
this juncture, tell our governors in the various states that please, this government is not about one person. Government
it's a nation.
Yes, government is about a people. Government is about a society. And now you are there in positions of authority now to lead, to be
by good
examples,
exemplary,
to work to cushion the impact of hardship in the lives of the residents of your state. Don't undermine them.
I want to
ensure that you do something. Let these states work. Let the local government councils also work. Let the money that is meant for the local government councils go to the councils.
The right quarters.
So, thereby,
I want to look at
we are going to have development spread.
Do you know that as we're talking right now, the U.S. government shut down? I think this is day 6. Is that not scary?
Scary.
Because we always look at them as the perfect in quote.
Perfect.
There's a lot of corruption also in that angle because we are reading out the feelers. You see, these things happen. You understand? That's why I don't want to laud the corruption. I'm not saying it's not there. We say it every week. We say it, but I want us to now look at it as in, okay, what is really going on? Is it that the money is not enough? Is it that this? Is it that? One thing I've heard governors say is that overhead cost has increased, tripled. They keep on saying it didn't double, it tripled.
So
and when they say it,
almost tripled as well.
And when they say it, my mind goes to the house. That's where my mind goes to overhead costs. Even to change a bulb in the house, bulb of 200, 300, you hear 1518, the quality ones. So you can imagine that. So if you are increasing revenue and the nitty gritty are not being tidied, you're not feeling it.
All right.
So I use US as a kind of a yardstick because they shut down because they are having issues, and the only way is that, okay, let's just hit this thing down, and they are really strong head about it because I keep on saying it every day. It started last week. I think today is day 6.
All right.
And there is no sign of they are going to end it anytime soon. So you can imagine that. But that won't happen here anyway. The government will shut down.
All right. But in Nigeria, we are way too far from what is
in that part of the world.
Yes. Now, I want us to look at the first news item read. Petrol sells for 865 naira per litre despite Dangote's logistics free supply. Before I speak out my mind, I would like you to react to this news first.
Well, time is far gone, so we'll have to make it in a minute or two.
Yeah.
All I can say is that, number one, let me just bring out the point.
All right.
Number one, the recent Pengassin issue might have kind of enhanced it. Then also, have we also considered the fact that some of these people might have backlog of fuel that they had in their reserves before, the new consignment, and they have to make their money. But at the same time, when we argue that, I think Dangote said he was going to make up for the pluses and minuses, which he did once anyway. I don't know whether he's still doing it. So those are the areas. Then again, I cannot overlook the fact that our government, our system is like that. Even when things go down, they won't let it go down. They won't because they're enjoying it.
Yeah.
I think that's one too should be because I cannot understand why, if Dangote is dropping fuel at your whatever at 820 and you cannot sell it at even just at 20 naira, you want to sell it at 870, 865, that's 875. So that's how they're selling it. Then again, I think we should also consider movements, though.
Dangote
has taken care of the logistics.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a Nigerian factor.
Yes, that is where I'm going. That is an attitudinal thing.
Yeah.
It's an attitudinal thing. If we don't change our orientation as a people, Nigeria may
corruption
not.
has eaten deep into. I was watching a video of a baby.
Right.
The father came out. Sorry, I'm just a minute. The father came out. I want to talk about corruption. The father came out of the bathroom and he was watching the baby, a baby that is not even up to 6 months.
All right.
And she took out money from the father's wallet and tucked it in his chest. And I said, God, corruption has started. Can you imagine? So corruption has eaten deep. Even, I think from the womb.
It's now in the blood.
Yes, from the womb, the baby is already learning. It is well.
Corruption.
May the Lord revive this land, honestly. We need revival.
May the Lord revive this country, Nigeria. But we have a whole lot to do in terms
Actually, the change is you and I.
Yeah.
It's not just the government.
Yeah.
But I don't know how we're going to go about it, but I think it has to be an intentional change. If the policeman will not take bribe, if those in government houses will be fair with all their whatever, they will not be partial. These things, even in the home, if parents are not partial with their, so many things, this thing has eaten deep. Our children pick it from the house, take it to school, take it into the society because they see it even in the house. So I think the change is you and I. It's more than the government. Though we like to hit more on the reason why we hit on more on the government is because corruption brought poverty. The government started through greed. They became corrupt. They were greedy. They wanted to amass wealth for themselves. So greed came into place and that brought poverty. So that's why an ordinary person will say the government is corrupt. But the truth is that even the society is corrupt. A lot of things are happening. Look at this fuel issue. They've given you fuel at 820. Why can't you sell it at 840? You still want to be enjoying, So that's part of the corruption. Though they are assuring us that in a week or two everything will acclimatize. So let's leave it at their word that it
will normalize.
But they would have made a lot of money through corruption in that 2 weeks.
Do you know what?
20 naira per liter.
You know what came to my mind?
Okay.
You did talk about people criticize government. While we don't criticize ourselves. There is this saying that the fish begins to rot from the head. When leadership has issues, then the followers, it will be chaotic.
They cave in.
Yes, yes, it will be chaotic. But I'm not laying this at the doorstep of the leaders. But what I am trying to say is that even when you lay it at the doorstep of the leaders, you are a leader. I'm a leader. I'm a father in the house. You are a mother in the house. So if we take responsibility, we try to, okay, you are talking about relationship today. And I think that in our relationship, we should ensure discipline. So if as a father, I do it well, I lay good examples to my children. They are learning. If the other family is also doing the same, we have the multiplier effect and the society gets better. So as we are calling on the government to do it right, let each one of us at the small closets of our jurisdiction. My family is my jurisdiction. I am the head there. I should head well.
Yeah.
So, and the followers too, they should follow well. So, let's go. You did prompt me that time is not really on our side, and that is true. Let us go to the next item. Okay, Dangote begins construction of $2.5 billion fertilizer plant in Ethiopia. You are clapping. I was going to jump on Dangote's neck. Why are you clapping?
Yes, I will clap for him because he went through a lot.
All right.
Dangote is 2 years plus. Dangote refinery, to the glory of God, is 2 years plus.
All right.
I think clocked 2 years. I think was it not August or September? So it's 2 years plus.
Right.
And I saw the journey. I have never seen someone that was muzzled. It was so bad, but he got better. Better strategies. So this is another strategy.
Dangote is a warrior. He's a general.
He's a businessman and a good one too.
In the war front. In the business war front.
Apart from being a warrior, there are some warriors. The Bible says wisdom is better than strength.
Yeah.
He has it up here. He knows the antics of business. And he has learned.
And he knows the Nigerian.
He has learned from the Dangote refinery. So he doesn't want to go to. He went to where they are ready to welcome him and work with him. You understand, with no itches. So that is. Let's just leave that news.
Ready to welcome
Let's
him.
just leave that news. It's so obvious. Even a child born today can read through the lines. He doesn't want to go through that. He was bastardized. It was too much. It was so obvious. Even it's so. I mean, when I read that, I just told myself, I said, the man has learned. He wanted. He came with a vision, a mission, a mandate, but he was muzzled too much. We talked about it a lot early this year about what he was going through, but one thing I know about him is that he has good advisors, and he himself is a good businessman. He's been in the industry for at least 4 decades. Yeah. So he started young in his 20s. So he has seen it all. So he's giving it to them back to back. So I want to applaud him. I think Nigeria lost. I think that's all I can say. Our government lost. Imagine what that would have done in our economy. Employment, you understand? Even tax revenue jack up. It's a loss to the government. But if I could, I would have done the same.
But
I would have done the same.
When I stumbled on that news, I asked myself, okay, but Dangote has an existing fertilizer factory plant in Nigeria, in Lagos. But when you talk about the size,
it's just
when you talk about all that, there is a paragraph there. I hope I will be able to cite it almost immediately.
That talks about the collabo, right?
No. Where they talked about the raw materials that will be used.
Oh yes,
okay.
All the materials we have it here in surplus. But unfortunately, he doesn't want to be muzzled. That is how I look at it. It's so obvious. It's so obvious. And I think moving forward, I don't think it's going to set up anything here again because this refinery thing was not easy. I think Buhari's government enhanced him. To be honest, he didn't have hitches. I think this government was where the problem started from, because it was launched during Buhari's regime and it was even silently launched. You understand? Everything was going on well. Maybe it is my man, it is my skin, my country, my tribe. I don't know what they were doing.
The plant, the fertilizer plant in Ethiopia, we utilize the country's vast natural gas resources from Hilal and Kalub reserves to boost agricultural productivity, create jobs, and strengthen food security across the Horn of Africa. For me, like you also did note, that initiative, is it that we don't have the raw materials?
Everything
here in
is
Nigeria?
available.
We have it, like some people will say,
in surplus.
Thank you.
In surplus.
So it is there. But one thing,
the onus is on Nigeria now. That's the truth. That's just the truth. I think they should learn from this.
Okay.
They should learn from this.
Well,
I think we should move past it.
we should move past it. But before we do, there is something that I want to say that, okay, we are talking about Dangote move that facility to Ethiopia. Now, I think that it is not too good at all times to put one's eggs in one basket. Okay, if I have all my investment in Nigeria,
okay,
why don't I also have it out there?
To be honest with you, sir,
all right,
that initiative, he wouldn't even have thought of it if where he was. People, even in business, we begin to spread out when we are having issues in one, so that we begin to think of risk management. Do you understand? Had it been the Nigerian atmosphere was friendly, he may not have really thought of Ethiopia. If this refinery was like luscious, he would have just expounded on his on the
existing
yes, and made it more whatever. But because of the issues he had, you understand, so any lorry on Ifila, that's how I look at this something. He wasn't, but look at those people. They did you read those paragraphs? Those people are ready to work with him. They are happy. You understand? So, and the sad part is that we even have more refineries than them. More natural things than them. We have it more surplus,
and the market is even
bigger. It's bigger.
Our population, when you compare
the
population,
but can you blame him? Can you blame him?
That of
no, but me and you talking. We know the heat. Or how do you look at it? I think he went to where he would not have issues, and he will welcomed. The man is getting older now. I don't think he has time for the drama. Wow. And he has left the sugar and other things. He wants to focus on this one. So he doesn't want. I think he doesn't want the. That's how I'm just imagining the way he's thinking.
From whichever angle we see it, we have to give it to Dangote.
That was why I applauded him.
Yes,
I would have done the same.
Yes, if we have more Dangotes in Nigeria, where he cites some of his other companies would not really matter.
No, people are saying that Dangote is not our savior, that we need more Dangotes, that when we have more Dangotes, we will now see the real Dangote.
Why in the first place are we going to think that a businessman is a savior?
Aha.
Okay. So let's go to the last news. Time is not on our side. Maybe we just have like 1 minute on this issue. Nigeria's trade with African countries rises by 610 billion naira in first half of 2025.
I think we've touched it when we're talking about the initial whatever.
Yeah.
They are figures. We're just seeing figures. We're not feeling it. They're just figures. And it's okay. Let's keep all fingers crossed. Let's see where it's taking us to. I think for me, it's just figures. And it's too early for them to begin to, blow their horn or blow their trumpet. Why don't we allow people to say it? This economy is free. It's booming. We've had booms in this land. People will say it. We've had nice administrations that gave us Ifokonbale, and people were the ones saying it. You understand?
So let me offer free consultancy to our government. The 3 tiers of government. I think it is ideal for us to make the local government councils work. When the local government councils work, at least some of the chief executives of local government would do something worth the while. So development will spread better. And then let our governors, the subvention that is coming from the federal purse and the IGR being generated, let it be well applied so that people will feel development. It is not the car that I donate to you that matters, but it is how many people I touch.
The impact.
Touching one person today and the other one person in 3 months' time. That is not what we are waiting for.
In a nutshell, let's start from the grassroots.
Yes. Let the governors release the money to the local government councils, and then the ones that come to the state and the IGR generated locally should be well
It's
utilized.
just like this land allocation for farming. Have you felt it?
I felt nothing. Well,
Because
we believe that our tomorrow will be better than our today.
Amen.
So, Mrs. Dolatbo Olufmilade, what do you have for us today?
Thank
the
you,
elements
sir.
of relationship.
Good afternoon, everyone. Again, thank you to my boss here.
Oh, wow. We are colleagues.
Yes, okay. I know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. Today we'll be looking at relationships. Relationships. A lot of us don't even know what relationships is. When you tell somebody what is relationship, you say, that man is friending that woman. That's all we know about relationship.
Oh, wow.
You understand? That's the common. They're in a relationship. As in that man or that girl and that guy. That's all. But relationship is more than that. Relationship has to do with one or two people, two or more people, having something of mutual interest. You understand? Something has to bring them together. You understand? Something of interest, people that can reason together, people that can, something brings you together, whether positive or negative. At least there's a relationship. That's what it's all about. Now, there are different types of, when we're looking at our relationships, we have relationships that are, I call them parasitic relationships. Wow. You understand? People are in relationship with you just for their gain. You don't mean nothing to them. That's a parasitic relationship. And there are some relationships, mutualism. You understand? We have it mostly in governments. When governments have collabos with other government, mutual benefits. You understand? Even here, indigenously, people come together. I have flour, you have sugar. We come together in a collabo. We join our customers together and bang, our economy jacks up. So that is a mutualism. But now looking at relationships, a lot of us don't really understand relationships. Now, from the nitty-gritty, let's look at this studio here. A lot of us here are acquaintances, though some of us have gone a little bit further, you understand? But the bottom line of relationship starts by acquaintances. People you meet, friendly, cordial, it all ends there. Just greetings. You are being civil, and just greetings. Then it can advance, maybe a platonic relationship, someone that there's this kind of concern you have for the person, a kind of concern you have for the person, so you are relating on that base. I want to use the word, a platonic relationship is just a kind of a concern thing. Then moving forward, we have some people are just your neighbors, A lot of us don't understand these things. We begin to call everybody my friend, because you feel you're in a relationship. Some people are just your neighbors. They are just your tenants. They are just your maybe roommates, flatmates, maybe church members, or just a pastor. They are not, and we should be able to define the relationships. When we learn how to define relationships, it brings us out of a lot of saga and a lot of issues. Some people I counsel a lot, and at times when I hear people talk, they don't go too far before I know where the problem is. They didn't learn to define the relationship. Somebody is just my neighbor. So it's just good morning, good afternoon, how is the family, and that's all. How is work, how is business. It ends there, nothing more. Going further, somebody is my friend. Oh, this is a friend. There is a friend that sticks closer than a brother. This one is my muzzle, my ishon, as Yoruba we call it. So a lot of things are binding us together more. When we learn to define relationships, it helps us to stay afloat, and it brings us out of a lot of issues. The reason why we are having issues is because we don't define the relationship. Even when two people are okay, let me go into the real relationship as the common man understands it. Somebody is just greeting you, relating with you. You're already thinking the extra mile. It's just interest, you understand? But you are now taking it on another level. So today I want to leave us with, let us try to define relationships. Let's understand that relationship is between two or more people. And let's realize that once you define a relationship, you can always project where it's going to. Mm-hmm. Defining it is the main thing. Oh, this person is just my colleague. This person is just an acquaintance. This person we're just roommates, or we're just tenants. That's all. You understand? Once you define it, you now begin to set boundaries. Boundaries that will keep both of you safe. So I'm leaving us with that this week. Please have a glorious week ahead. Monday is always the first working day, do not the first day of the week, but the first working day of the week. And I want to charge us this week that let's employ the act of relationship, understanding relationship as we head out this week so that our week is well defined. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Mrs. Olufumilade, for that. It is on this note that we'll be calling it a day. But I wouldn't want to leave this place until I have said a big thank you to my producer, Toluwaleke Ale. I want to say a big thank you to her, and I want to say a big thank you to Mrs. Dolapo Olufumilade. It's been so awesome being with you today, like the past editions too. Like, I want to also say a big thank you to the engineer in the studio, Irekomi. You've really done a good job. You related with us well. I want to say that you have a productive rest day of the week. I am your dear friend on the radio, Akinwale Aboluwade. We shall see again next week, Monday. Definitely, by God's grace. Cheers.
And cover pages, all this crazy. You know who I am, 'cause I'll be a superstar. Let's go! No more